Hey everybody, we are here with the Albertsons. They're from Missouri. And Missouri, yeah. So we're happy to have Blake in here. If you're not familiar with Blake, check out his YouTube channel, B&B Lawn Care, of course. Blake is an LMN ambassador as well as I am, as you may know. And I wanted to ask Blake, how do you utilize LMN in your company? What how you've seen its benefits, affect your business, and anything for anybody considering LMN, like maybe not downfalls of it, or if there are any, the commitment it takes to input all the information, stuff like that. Just curious, and I want to hear your thoughts on LMN and how you use it.
Yeah, well, like we kind of talked about earlier, the initial setup of it it's a lot. Yeah. And it's super stressful, but they do kind of take you under their wing and like video sessions. Right. Like we were on constant calls as I was going through setting it up.
Yeah, because you use their, not the Express program. What was it? They have an Express onboarding or something?
Yeah,
what was
like their onboarding process, but they're there to help you because
they have incredible customer service.
Yeah, the customer service is what you're paying for, man, right? Because they want you to be successful, so you'll continue using it, which makes perfect sense. I genuinely
believe that, by the way. I think that's they actually care that you know how to use the program.
They're constantly giving free webinars and things. Like, companies don't have to do that, they want you to continue on there. But the biggest thing for me was, the initial thing was a lot, and but I learned a lot about my business. It was kind of scary exposing your numbers of your business, if it's something you've never done before. It's kind of nerve-wracking. You're like, what if I've been doing it wrong the whole time? Right. Like, you like to think that you're doing everything right, but kind of breaking it all open and, like I said, exposing it is kind of healthy. Like, it's something, it's a milestone you have to hit so you can make sure that you're doing it correctly in the future. Right. And so that was a lot, but what it did was, as I go through like springtime, I would just, in the past, I would just walk around the yard like everybody starts out, and well, this is gonna do this, maybe 10 yards of mulch, maybe we're gonna edge out some landscaping, oh, and you need a little bit of rock, and then I'd say a number, and it was just I'd be nervously go up to the customer and, well, Blake, we were actually wanting to spend this, and you're like, oh, well, okay, I think I'll do it for that. And so I'm not making any money. And the customer, they know that I was going up there BSing them, and they got one over on me, and so it's not good for anybody. And sometimes if you're just not making any money, and the quality sometimes can suffer. I mean, that's just,
you gotta hustle and get through it.
You gotta get through it. You'll rush over some things, and so going there and inputting it all into LMN and really learning what it's going to take to do that job, and having the confidence to go up to the customer and say, I know my numbers, like, this is what it's going to cost me to do the job. So it's just kind of a different mindset. Like, once you get onto LMN and go onto their webinars, and Mark, we talk about Mark all the time. Like, he's like, just if you could listen to him for an hour, it's just amazing. Yeah, but absolutely. Just kind of flipping your mindset of how you go out and quote jobs has probably been the biggest thing for me. And then just making sure that you're hitting the mark that you need to hit when you go out and do these jobs. And my jobs are a lot smaller than yours. We're doing like 1, 2, 3 day jobs in the springtime with rock and mulch and edging out beds and maybe making new beds or whatnot. But to go there with a little bit of, pen to paper, this is what it's going to cost me to do this job.
Yep. Awesome. Do you have advice for anybody considering considering maybe implementing LMN or a design software, an estimating software, but I guess specifically LMN, like, if people are considering it, what would your advice to them be of, like, starting up or, even exploring the program?
Yeah, I would, two things. Definitely get onto the webinars so you can kind of get into the community per se, like you guys are in it, like, get around the people that are changing the mindset of business. Like, I know it's so cliche, but the knowing your numbers. Right. So go on to some of the webinars and then start with the free program and just get your budget right and lean into it slowly like that, and know that the first 6 months of it is going to be some hard work to get everything set up so it's easier later. Yep. Is that kind of a good way to explain it?
Sure. Yeah.
Because like the first month or two of inputting all your information and like your trucks and your equipment and it's a lot to do, but it's stuff that most people never do until, you know, it's 5 or 10 years down the road and it's too late.
Yeah, and that's the thing I fell into or jumped into that hole myself, was not tracking numbers early on and not recovering my costs properly and all that stuff, which is the thing, the LMN software with the budgeting, because it's gonna, you implement all your numbers like you're saying, and it's gonna, or you input all those numbers and it's gonna help you, and based off the kind of money you say you want to make as an owner or a salary or whatever, and it calculates that along with all your costs and helps you spit out, you know, accurate estimates, as long as your estimate and your thought process on like how long it's going to take you to get that rock in, it's going to spit out a good accurate quote for you, and it's going to also help hold you accountable to that. Like I know we said we're going to do it in this time, like we need to try to hit this, and if we don't, then we know what we need to adjust, or hopefully adjust on the next one.
When I learned about overhead recovery, I was like, what does that even mean?
Right,
like,
sure.
But it's, now that I know about it and implement it, I can't even believe people don't do it. Like, it's so simple, and it's just a pure fact that you need to do that to continue running your business. But I guarantee you, when you first start, you don't even think about it. You think that this is my equipment, so it's my responsibility to pay for it. But you have to realize that one day you're doing all these jobs for your customers. That equipment needs to be replaced. Yeah,
absolutely. Like that's a huge thing people don't consider.
Yeah, I mean, all this equipment out here, you're gonna have to replace it one day.
Well, no, I own it cash outright, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not to say, you still got to be, even if you own the machine or truck or whatever, you still got to be recovering and pulling that money aside as if it had a payment on it, so that you can afford to buy the next one cash or put a huge down payment on the next one or whatever. Yeah,
so like when I go, like let's say when I rent a dingo for a rock job or whatever, well, I pass the rent payment onto, or the rent fee onto the customer as a part of the job. Right. But then with my mowers, I don't. Right. Like it just, it makes you go, what? Yeah. And so that, like, just little things like that you learn will pay for the program in itself.
Brings so many things like that to light, and a lot of things like that normally wouldn't see the light of day, and in a lot of guys' companies, it's helping do that. So awesome. Well, man, thanks. I appreciate the input there.
Heck yeah, man.
And thanks, guys. And so we'll talk some more about LMN and what it can do for your company. Thanks for checking out here with Blake.
Yeah. Peace
What's
out.
all your social media stuff, Blake?
At B&B Lawn Care KC, TikTok, Instagram, and B&B Lawn Care on YouTube.
There you go. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you. Cool.
All right.